As inflation soars, our food production facilities burn to the ground totally coincidentally, and nobody can talk about anything except for Elon Musk and a social media platform they probably don't care about. Let's talk about something more important, like the simple tools we might be relying on with our lives very shortly. I'm Jake the Snake, today's host. You're watching episode 4, that is April 2020, of The Knife News Update! Alright, so as you may notice, we are not in my usual location, and I am not your usual host. Due to my recent surgery, I'm having to do things a little bit differently. I can't walk out to the areas that I usually shoot this video at, and I don't have the energy to get all that wild. So this is what we're going to get. It's going to be a more simple platform. We are going to talk about knife and knifeish news that happened in April of 2022. If you like knives and you like seeing what's new, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and give us a thumbs up. Let's get straight into it. It is Friday, so in the tradition of knife nerds everywhere, for Fixed Blade Friday, today's knife is the Papa Bear Knives Wanderlust. Please focus, camera. This really cool knife is based on my design, the Adventure Craft, but using Alan's own taste, thicker stock, and a Bowie design. He's come up with a knife of a personality all of its own that is equally at home in the kitchen, in the bush, or in your everyday carry. These are really cool. This is one of my favorite knives, and the Van Gogh pattern micarta here is just as cool as it gets. I want to start every knife news update news section with Knife Rights. If you're not familiar, Knife Rights is a fantastic legal organization that gets a lot of donations from the knife industry and uses that money to fight unconstitutional knife laws in the United States. This month, they got a switchblade ban repeal bill passed the House in Pennsylvania. Congrats to them. Hopefully it goes all the way through. Keep fighting knife rights, and guys, please support knife rights. All right, in our news from around the world, let's start off with Poland. Email Handmade Knives and also Email Epoxy Labs, both the same guy, have released a new model. It's really cool. It has my attention. I think it's going to be super practical, and I'm really excited to see people out there using it. Also from Poland, land of strong men, we have a new knife model from Shagat Handmade. I'm really fond of this design. It has a thumb ramp that is reminiscent to me of a Jerry Hossam thumb ramp. It's a thumb ramp that I've seen start to become more popular. They're super comfortable. This knife looks just ultimate practical for a belt knife. Really stoked on that. The model is as of yet unnamed, so unless I'm mistaken, you can actually go to his Facebook page, submit an idea for a name, and possibly win a chance to get 25% off any of his custom knives. Today, which is actually Thursday, he just released a whole drop of knives. They'll probably be all sold out by the time that you see this, but if they're not, it's worth checking them out and getting one before they are gone. The man's in high demand, so if you want one of his knives, which he's in high demand because he makes fantastic knives and at a fantastic price. So if you want one, you gotta watch and you gotta be quick. Definitely go check it out. In a different part of the world, Australia, it doesn't actually exist. Hardcore Hardware released a new website. Now, if you're not familiar, Hardcore Hardware is a sister company to Half-Breed Blades. They make some really cool knives. All of their knives fit and finish is absolutely top-notch, super nice. As a general rule, it looks like Hardcore Hardware's knives are more aggressively aesthetically designed, a lot more blacks. Very similar to Half-Breed Blades, some similar handle shapes and stuff like that, but more aggressive and aesthetically purposeful blade designs. Check it out. They're edgy. I wasn't sure whether or not to put this in the Knifeish news update or in the Australia section, but I decided to go with the Australia section because it's made in Australia. Snedden's axes are available for pre-order. They have the Razorback, the Knockabout 2, and the Knockabout 3. These are hand-forged axes made in Australia. Everything, if you didn't know, is really expensive in Australia. And so the way that these are made, the price point, which I think is very competitive, the rarity of getting handmade products from Australia, and the look of them came together for something that I thought that was newsworthy. These normally sell right out, so the fact that they're doing a pre-order right now is newsworthy. I'd like to get one of these for myself. The prices range from about $200 to $300. Shipping to the US is about 40 bucks, which is incredibly reasonable for an axe. They use their own steel. I don't remember how they explained it or whatever, but typically they use gum for their handles, a material, wood that we don't see used very often here. I'm sure it's because it's what they can get there. One interesting thing about these Aussie axes is the heads are pinned on. I'm sure it is a regional thing. Again, we don't see it very often here. Very cool. Speaking of Australia and axes, Cedric and Adam just released a new video. It is an axe repair and sharpening video. He hasn't been releasing as many videos recently, but he is one of the best knife YouTube channels on YouTube. So since he's had a bit of a dry spell and he just released a video, it's newsworthy. Make sure to go check him out and subscribe to him on his channel. Sponsoring today's episode is actually me. I have two new shirts on Teespring. The Exodus Knife and Tool Legionnaire shirt that I am currently wearing, and the new Knife News Update shirt. Now, both of these shirts are fundraiser shirts. The Legionnaire is going to a new project for Exodus Knife and Tool. We are releasing a new model. I'll have more information soon. My core group of supporters from Patreon and outside of that will be branded as the Legion. Super stoked on these shirts. The Knife News Update shirt is a fundraiser for getting the Knife News Update to Blade Show in Atlanta. These are both available on Teespring. You click My Designs on the Teespring website. They get shipped directly to you once they're made. You can see in the roll screen below more of my Teespring products. Now, I want to mention for these two shirts specifically, since they are fundraiser shirts, they are the same price as all of my other shirts, but they are the cheapest t-shirt option to make a little bit more money. They are Hanes shirts. They are comfortable. They fit true to size, and they have more size options than any of the other shirts, to include all of the XL sizes and XL long sizes. So, that is today's sponsor. The meat and the potatoes of this show is the Makers segment. We don't have a whole lot this time, but a maker has had a name change to Markwell Knife Co. Same knives that he used to make under a new name, under his last name. He makes some really cool knives. He does some forgings and stuff like that, and I think you should check him out. Again, in the Makers segment, Baker Forge billets has been really getting popular recently. Bear Force knives and Papa Bear knives are making some absolutely mind-blowing knives out of his forged Damascus billets. His trademark is using copper or brass in the billets as well as wrought iron. I'm really excited on this maker's steel and on all of the makers that are using it. I might have to get some of that for myself as well. So check out all three Papa Bear knives, Bear Force knives, and Baker Forge billets. All right, and production news. Hogue Knives has a new model, the Ballista. Ballista? Ballista? I don't know. Looks extra tactical. It's very cool to see Hogue continue to invest in knives, manufacturing more knives and more knife models. Congrats to them. They do stuff a lot different in the market, and I hope they continue to do so. Just In Case Knives has just released a flipper. I'm going to have to read the name. If you're not familiar, Just In Case Knives is a fairly new brand that has popped up. I don't know who does their manufacturing, but they have very good prices. They use a lot of 420HC, which a lot of people like to take a crap on, but I think it's pretty doggone good steel, especially for a tough stainless budget knife. I like his designs, and his new flipper, the FAFO 1 Janie flipper. It looks pretty cool. It has a D2 blade, spring assisted. It's just cool to see another small mom and pop shop's knife company pop up and give the market a little more variety. All right, and we have Knifeish news. Combat Art Training has released a flashlight shock cord holder. Now, before you guys lose it, you probably understand the axes and the knives, but I know a lot of you guys are flashlight guys too. What this allows you to do is it's a universal holder, and it allows you to have retention on your flashlight with your fighting pistol, however it is that you like to do that, but also be hands-free. You can do your mag changes, you can manipulate things, you've got your flashlight attached to your hand. It's a good deal. I recommend, if you carry a fighting pistol, to also carry a fighting light. Check out Combat Art Training. And we're going to wrap this up with Hardcore Hammers. Hardcore Hammers is a cool American-made brand. They've been on the scene for quite a while now. I remember when they were new. They have a new line of knives called axes, called the Theodore Roosevelt line. They have 3 of these axes: the Pioneer, the Conservationist, and the Forester. So essentially, you have an Axaroon, a small Pulaski, and an axe/splitting maul. The heads are at just over 2.5 pounds, which is kind of a sweet spot for a do-it-all axe. They look phenomenal. Fit and finish on Hardcore Hammers axes are really cool. What's so cool about them is that fit and finish and what they do with their heads being completely different than the norm. So if you're interested in axes, make sure to check that out. Well, that's it for this month. Make sure to check out the description box for how you can support this channel, and make sure to check out anything that interests you from the Knife News Update. Help the people who help the channel. I'll be back next month with more news. Hopefully it'll be a busier month. We'll just have to see if the country still exists by then. Let me know what you think in the comments section below, and I hope that you have a blessed